Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Tempest Strike build by yours truly, Becca V. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. So I have to do this in one take because I'm getting kicked out the house and shot in the alley. So let's go over the bases. We got the gameplay loop. We got what is Tempo Strike and the hidden features. Ooh, we got exotic CUs, DR and sustain, combination blow slash stacking. We got the build, weapons, gears to chase, and swapping because I'm an in-game player and I need to swap. Let's start off with the gameplay loop. As you can see here, we're going to start with Tempo Strike at the top. We're then going to use it on Greg. Greg will explode and die. We get amplified, 75% DR, bolt charge, healing, invisibility with Assassin's Cow. Okay, and then we go to combination blow, which gives us a damaging stacks, big juicy. And then we dodge. Once we dodge, we get our Tempest Strike back. And we also, during a dodge, we get some good old DR in our dodge animation. Pretty cool, right? All right. So this is the circle of Chicken Jockey. Anyways, Tempest Strike. Let's talk about it. When you slide, then you power melee, things die, right? It is like an arc wave, like a waveframe that jolts everything. Kind of like Consecration. It goes around 22 meters, jolts targets, and gets bolt charges on defeats. Pretty good. But now what Tempo Strike doesn't tell you is that you get 75% DR for 4 seconds after using. It's kind of a big thing you should probably tell people, and it would probably be used more. Because I didn't know that until I went into this build, started build crafting it. So that is a big chunk of damage resistance right there. Exotics to pair with Tempo Strikes. We got the good old trusty Gift of Conviction, where every time you jolt an enemy, that when you're surrounded, you get 25, 40, or 50% DR, 1, 2, and 3. That's how the stacks work. And it does a little bit of damage. Tempest Strike jolts. You get Gift of Conviction DR. Pretty good, right? Assassin's Cowl. You get Invis and 100 health when melee kills. You also get like 200 health, which is around like max health when you kill majors or bosses, but most of the time you're not doing that. So we're going to keep it with this. And then Liar's Handshake, when taking or dealing arc damage, or just receiving damage, melee damage, or dealing arc melee damage to a target, it procs cross counter, making your next melee, your arc melee, deal 400% damage. And it heals you. Pretty cool. But we might stray away from that one. Damage resistance. Alright, so damage resistance and sustain. These is what's very important in builds. This is why your Wellucks are so good. This is why, what do you call it? Gift of Conviction is so good. Shared Tacnies is so good. Consecration, well, they have knockout, but everything just explodes and dies. Maybe Tip and Strike will be that. I don't know. Anyways, so we know that Timber Strike already gives 75% DR. So that's a lot of DR. Don't really have to worry about that much, right? But we can get more DR because we love DR. Spark of Resistance gives 25% when close to 3 enemies, right? Pretty good. Combination Blow will now give the full effect to Tempest Strike. This was an TWAB 2 weeks ago, so assuming that this is still in effect when Edge of Fate comes out, Combination Blow will be excellent with Tempest Strike. Assassin's Cowl or Gift of Conviction, DR or healing, right? Recuperation, armor mod that heals you on ore pickup. Keep it on this one because it kind of makes no sense that there is a health stat, but there's also recuperation. Like, why not? What's the point of investing in health, you know? They might get rid of recuperation, is what I'm trying to say. Next up, Amplify. Amplify gives you 15% TR, which you're always going to have in any arc build, no matter if you're Warlock, Titan, or Hunter. And it makes targets misses, and it's quite noticeable. If you're low health and you start running away from something and you're amplified, you'll notice. You're like, oh my god, how did I live that? It happens more than you think. And then flow state. Flow state makes your dodge more tanking, giving your dodge ability 66% DR. So when you dodge, you're not dying. That's on top of everything else you have, right? Insane. Now let's talk about combination blow and stacking. Combination blow is a hunter arc melee. When you get a kill with the power melee, which is combination blow, you get a buff on your melees that scale up to 400%, and it stacks up to 3. So 400% is the max. I don't know what the other one's with. Kind of running low on time. So yeah. Also heals for every kill, and we're not done. Resets your dodge on kill too. So yeah, pretty good. It's literally standard for every arc build and hunters, and it's going to be more standard with that Tempest Strike changes. 1-2 Punch is a weapon perk that buffs melee, landing 12 pellets or 10 if it's ants. Your next melee is increased by 150% damage. It also is 3 seconds long instead of 1.5, I believe, which no pressure of using now. You can now shoot, run around the map, and Tempest Strike. Right, 3 seconds is a long time. And when we're at 200 melee stacks, you get 30% increase damage. That's not additive, that's multiplicative. That's good. And then you can kind of see things adding up here. The build. So our super choice is Gathering Storm. Um, this is going to be more for day one and DPSing. All right. You probably won't be using. I forgot what it's called, but I know Storm's Edge is the other one. Those supers, just because your abilities should kind of cover the ad clear, unless something changed in Edge of Fate. They decided to like, I don't know, nerf the abilities and weapon damage. Then that's a different story. But we're gonna stick with Gathering Storm. Gambler's Dodge, which now refunds from anywhere in the map. You don't have to be near an enemy. That's awesome, right? Combination Blow, like we talked about. Flash Grenade. Flash Grenade is a really underrated grenade. Takes care of unstops and blinds most enemies. Crazy. And if you want, you can go the Fragment aspect where it jolts enemies. So now it takes care of unstops and overloads. Aspects. Tempest Strike, of course. Like what? But now we're adding it with Flow State. Now you could be like, why not Lethal Current? Well, Lethal Current is good, but it only works with kind of the one like the punching, right? Not the Tempest Strike. So it's kind of wonky, right? So when you dodge and you get, that little jolt effect and then the increased melee range, there's really no point with Tempest Strike because it kind of does that, right? And Tempest Strike goes really far and it jolts, so there's no point. Well, Flow State, when you get a jolt kill, you get amplified. While Amplify, your class ability is at a 200% recharge rate. Reloads become a lightning speed, and you get 60% DR and dodge animation. That reload one is something to keep an eye on. That reload is insane. Like if you haven't used it, or maybe you used it from a long time ago and you're just like, oh yeah, let's try this. Let me try something new. That is the fastest reload I think in the game. Give it a shot. It's really good, especially if you're trying to do rotations for DPS. You're always amplified. You're an arc, right? Use it. Trust me. The builds, part 2. So for our fragments, we're going to use Spark of Resistance because we get 25% DR. We're going to do Spark of Amplitude, where rapid kills are amplified, drops orbs. So that's anything you do, weapon kills, abilities, you get orbs on kills. It's really good. I'm not sure what what do you call it? The cooldown rate is. There definitely is a timer on it. I'm not 100% sure what it is. Spark of Frequency, melee hit, speed. Melee hits increase your speed reload, and while amplified, it increases the bullet charge. It also increases the speed reload too, but you get bullet charge stacks with it. So when you Tempest Strike and get kills with it, you pretty much have max bullet charge. Spark of Ions. Defeating an enemy with Jolt or with Bolt Charge grants Ionic Tracers. Now, it's kind of you're like, oh, what's the point of Ionic Tracers if I'm getting my melee back, right? And my dodge back? Well, Ionic Tracers is more for your grenade. That grenade, like I said, it's really slept on. You should use it a lot. And it's always nice having it up if you're in a pinch, you just need a chunk of grenade, blinds everything, you can probably get out. That's a really good grenade. And also, due to this past TWAB that came out yesterday, it's also getting a 15% buff. So it's pretty good. Now for exotics, you can go two ways. You can go for more DR, which is Assassin Cal. I mean Assassin Cal. Gives a conviction, or you can go Assassin Cal, which gives you invis and health on kills. It doesn't matter which one you run. If you want to be a little bit more tanky, maybe a little bit safer, gives a conviction. You already have a lot of DR, so like it's kind of like, do I really want this? So I'm leaning towards Assassin Cal because 75% on a Tempest check is a lot of DR. It is only 4 seconds, but there's so many Ordo sources that you can sustain yourself, which is not like, don't really need that much DR, right? You don't need that 40, 50% extra because, like I said, 75 is a lot. So we're going Assassin Cal. Fields Pot 3. So a cool YouTuber or content creator named Papoki. Papoki? Awesome person, right? Made a video on this build, and I was like, wait, this guy might be cooking on something. So I did further research into it, and I most likely agree with his stats. The way he has his stats is actually very convenient for this build. I started adding a little bit of flavor into it, like what gears are run and everything like that. Um, his link is to that channel, or what? The link is to his channel. Just click his name, and yeah, it'll take you to. He makes awesome videos. Would watch him if I were you. But anyways, he has 25 weapon power, 5 health, 101 class, 70 grenade, 150 super, and 200 melee. That is awesome, right? Um, and then we're gonna talk about the armor mods. I did switch a little bit armor mods off because I didn't agree with some of them, but hey, that's what makes us human. So you can switch special finisher for fun and restoration if you want. That's what the other person have. Or you could not, right? Not sure special finisher would still be in the game because the way they're doing these ammo generations are very interesting. And don't know if, yeah, I just don't know. I would be surprised if it stays in with these ammo generations because they're switching field prep and MVNR, so like inventory stats, to be ammo generation. So keep an eye on that. Hands on gives you super energy on melee kills, and heavy handed gives increased super generation orbs. Also, it lowers the cooldown to create orbs. So it's 10 seconds after you punch and get an orb, or punch and create an orb, and then it's 5 seconds with 2, and then 1 second with 3. Very important. And then power protractions is kind of a must on here because you get healing every time you dodge. And then power retraction works every time you use your class ability. It's very good. Weapons. Let's talk about weapons. So primary, perfect paradox, or multi-mac. Those are the two weapons I'll be using the majority of the time. Paradox for the 1-2 punch. Multi-mac is a safe primary that creates orbs and does damage, right? Midnight Coup, Fatebringer, pretty good. Predator's Revenge, another good shout out. You can get kinetic trimmers on it. Supremacy, if you don't want to get Paratives, still really good. And Kvastov. Nice damage, shoot to loot, great. Energy slot, Choir of One. I don't think I'm going to switch up Choir of One. If I do, be Lord of Wolves or Velocity Baton with Nutrition Orbs. Those are literally the other two weapons I will switch. I don't know if I would switch anything else. Heavy, Hesians is the GOAT. 2 rockets, 15% increased damage. Most likely will be changed from the 50% increased damage, but 2 rockets per mag is very good. And Queenbreaker. Queenbreaker is very good in this current meta. The Chase for Armor. So there's 2 routes. Bushido's, which gives some nice DR with shotgun kills, sword kills, or bows. Shotguns fit very good because of 1-2 punch, and also Lord of Wolves is kind of fits the place of getting in there and making some havoc, you know? Buy on Renewal gives DR and speed boost when you're at low health. I think it's critical health, so I think it's when you're red. But it's like a protective light mod from a long time ago. And swapping. Swapping is more for high-end things. It is not really, you could use it anywhere. But basically, you store your skills. Your well lock, golden gun tethers will drop orbs for DPS phase, and then you'll be at max stacks. If you're solo play, use powerful attractions, run around a bit maybe, dodge, and then you get your full stacks. If not swap is active, literally just discard everything I just said, and swap to legendary boots that provide surges when DPS comes around. because not swap does not affect legendaries, and you're not using legendary boots or exotic boots. So yeah, and this is it. This is the credits, the sources I found for the slideshow, and yeah, this is my socials. And thank you for your time. Hell yeah.